All right. Welcome back to the stream. Welcome back to another video. Today we're going to get into a variety of features of topics, but this first topic I'm going to give you the play-by-play, the step-by-step on what I would do on how I would buy a Tesla Model Y today to get the best payment possible, to get a payment of $647 a month, and what I would actually do and which bank I would actually go with. And I'll give you a couple different options as well in that front, but we're going to get into that plus a variety of topics. So if you're interested in any of that, but before we get into that, let's roll that intro real quick. All right, so thanks for watching another stream. Thanks for watching another video. My name is Dennis, and I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best behind Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel and get access to the best Tesla buying guide out there. And actually, shout out to my latest Patreon member. Sorry I didn't add it to the thing. Brian Knack Harrison. Thank you for joining. Thank you for supporting. If you want to get access to the best Tesla buying guide out there with interest rates as low as 2.99 to 3.7%, definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. But let us get into this. So first, let's go step by step. I'm going to show you exactly on what I would actually do. So first things first is let's take a look at the Tesla Model Y. If you didn't know recently, I mean, most of you probably know what happened. There was a $3,000 price cut across the board for all trims of the Tesla Model Y. We've got Model 3 all-wheel drive starting at $46,990, Model Y long range at $49,990, and of course the Model Y Performance, Model 3 $990. And that's kind of the decision thing here is like, I don't know if I were to do it again, would I go Model Y at $50,000 or just spend what, $4,000 more for Model Y Performance? It's really close. And I don't know if I saw a Model Y long range, which a lot of them out there have the induction rims, which is a $2,000 feature. I mean, you're really only another $2,000 more, and then you can get a Model Y Performance. And so it's a tough decision, definitely a very tough decision, but maybe not as tough for a lot of you out there. It looks like we put a poll out there on the channel and we asked the question, Model 3 Performance at $52,990 or Model 3 Performance at $52,990 and Model Y Performance at $53,990, and an overwhelming 73% said $53,990 for the Model Y Performance. But that's a question, right? Like, I guess I should ask, what's between the all-wheel drive, the long range, and the Performance, but I feel like I know the answer to that. I think a lot of people are going to be choosing the Model Y long range at $49,990. And the kicker with all of this, and I feel like this is why a lot of people out there are buying Tesla Model Ys right now, and inventory has started to go down a lot since, for a week now, is because the Model Y qualifies for the $7,500 federal tax credit. Pretty simple enough. Like, if you make under the threshold of 150 as a single earner, and if you make, the rule of thumb is about like $75,000 or $70,000 as a single earner W-2 income person, then you will actually reap the full benefit of the $7,500. Of course, I'm not a CPA, but I have I've purchased multiple electric vehicles in the past, and I have taken advantage of this exact program before in the past, and I'm thinking about it this year as well. But of course, like, solar is a little bit pressing on the mind because it seems like that's the better ROI than purchasing another Tesla, because we've got the Model X right now, and we purchased the Model 3, the Model Y S, and of course, most recently, the Model X. But this is what I would do. So of course, I am all about the deal. I want the best possible deal and the most ROI, and also the better retention value, or I guess the vehicle that's going to hold the best value. So I would probably not spend too much money. At most, I would do maybe blue or black, but I definitely 1000% would not go red. We had a blue one in the past, and that was a very nice color, especially if you ceramic coat it, paint correct it. It really shines. I'm not sure if I would do the induction rims. I would maybe just try and get the Gemini rims as much as possible, because once you take off these caps, you could paint them black, and they look basically the same to everybody else that doesn't own a Model Y. And so I, of course, want inductions or the Gemini because those are square setup. They are the same width and this size around all four sides, so you can rotate them back and forth and all that stuff, which is going to extend your tire life for your Tesla at the end of the day. I would go probably white interior if I could find one. I would definitely not do the 7-seater and definitely not get full self-driving or enhanced autopilot or anything of that matter. So I, of course, my build would probably be very close to the base price of $49,990 or even close, but really I wouldn't even order it. I have recommended people do not order a Tesla at all. Do not throw your name into the book. I mean, if you're worried about price increases, because I do try and promote that the best time to buy is June, then maybe it might be worth it. But I really like what I do is I go to waitingfortesla.com. I look at inventory sites, try and find vehicles that are near me or around me. And lo and behold, you can see right on the screen, there's a demo discounted Tesla Model Y, all-wheel drive, of course. So, I could go with that. And it's got a $460 discount. It only has 372 miles on it. So it's really not that bad at all. But this is where I live. I love purchasing vehicles from this side. I love taking a look at here to see really if there's any sort of discount. And come June, there will definitely be $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000 discounts during that time, but Tesla might raise the price. I mean, Tesla has done in the past after big price drops like this, so I could easily see some sort of price increase of $500 to $1,000 in the next few months because they've got to discount the vehicle in June with demo discounts, so they don't want to feel too much of the burn. So definitely expect that if you're on these sidelines, if you've not placed an order yet to lock in the low price, I would probably do that at this point, unless you're flexible. If you want to gamble a little bit, you want to see if the prices will increase, but discounts will happen in the near future, then maybe don't put a price deposit or a deposit for a Tesla Model Y in the books and just wait it out. But take a look at the screen. So we've got one right here in the backyard, Irvine, California, not too far at all. It's a Model Y silver with black interior, 20-inch induction rims. Okay, it's not bad. I mean, it's $49,540, so we could probably save $2,000 if we didn't get the induction rims, but at the same time, it's going to be pretty hard to find one without the Gemini rims. So anyways, let's just play some hypotheticals, right? So we'll just take this at surface value and we won't even factor in the $2,000 for what we could save with Gemini rims. And the next thing is trying to figure out a financing partner and what the term is and all that stuff. But on top of that, do understand that you will get a $7,500 federal tax credit back. And so you could essentially put that money down depending if you're within the income limits of what I mentioned before and if you're going to reap the full benefit or not. But this is where you could also use as a different financing partner, Tenet. This video is actually sponsored by Tenet, so definitely check them down below. But Tenet actually allows you to defer a portion of the monthly or defer a portion of the price of the vehicle all the way to the end, which then results in a lower monthly payment. Maybe even defer that $7,500 federal tax rate. So there's a strategy here where you could do that, get a really low monthly payment or a lower monthly payment, get the tax credit next year, and then pay off Tenet and get, use that for the next time. But definitely check it out. Tenet link down below in the description. And thank you to Tenet for sponsoring this video and a bunch of other videos throughout this month. But this is what I would do. So I would use Tenet, or if you don't want to use Tenet and check out some of the other ones, here is Labor Credit Union. You can see right here on the screen, we've got a pretty interesting term. I mean, got to remember here, we're going for a very low monthly payment. I mean, what we do know is that right now on Tesla's financing rate, Tesla's financing for a loan is 5.59%. So really paying a little bit of an extra loan for a longer term at 5.99% for 88 months. If we're going for that lowest monthly payment possible, you can either use Tenet or use Labor Credit Union for that low term. And this is where we really get into like what type of down payment we're going to put down, right? So if you use Tenet, you defer that $7,500, but if you are going to be going for that low monthly payment, I would actually recommend maybe putting down that $7,500 if you can, because you are going to be getting it back if you're within those income limits to get that when you get back for your taxes next year. But this is where it works out. So $49,540, of course, tax taxes and fees, DM fees, and all that stuff, we're going to use a roundabout number of 8% because that's probably the average across the country, and that's what it's going to be. So that would put us at 49,530 plus 8% on top of that. That's going to be an out the door of 53,492. And so that's where we throw it into our auto loan calculator here. You can see some hypotheticals. You can see on the left side right here, 53,492 as an out the door price, 88 months at 5.99%, 7,500 down because that is the tax credit that you'll be getting back next year as if you within that same income limits and all that stuff. If you're confused on that, there's actually plenty of videos on our channel where we talk about, you can type in like tax or electric vehicle tax rate explained, and I show you the different calculators and modules and where you can see if you qualify for the full 7,500. But my rule of thumb is if you make above $75,000 as a single earner, then you will probably qualify for the full amount back as a refund, an extra refund when you file for your taxes next year. But here we go. You can see right on the screen right here, there is a monthly payment of $647 a month. Of course, this interest rate 5.99 is not the lowest out there. There's definitely much lower interest rates than that. Credit unions and banks down. So definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. But that is basically it. Hopefully that makes a lot of sense for you. You just basically try and figure out what build you want. Try and go to waitingfortesla.com, see if there's anyone near you, and figure out which one you can lock your name down, put your name down, lock down the VIN, and then just wait for delivery. But at the same time, June is what I've been promoting for a while. There's going to be a lot of different discounts and promotions in June because it's the last month of the quarter. So if you can wait, definitely try and wait it out if you can at that point. But definitely, hopefully that makes a lot of sense. We're going to jump into our next topic, and if you have any questions, definitely drop it down below in the comments or even the live stream. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is the Patreon link where you can support the channel, and there's a variety of benefits, but some of them include actually scheduling a call with me. We can ask me any questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. And after you join the Patreon, you get a link to my buying guide, which has links to all the credit unions and the banks that I use to get the best possible rate for financing your Tesla. Some of them as low as 2.99 to 3.7%. So definitely check it out. Link down below the Patreon link. And as an added benefit and bonus, I do respond to all DMs in the Patreon app at a certain level of membership. So if you want to ask me a quick question or multiple questions, you can definitely do that. Link down below in the description. Water break. Hope everyone is well. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for supporting. Thanks for hitting the like button. Welcome in Powell's Kyle. Thanks for jumping in. Thank you. Thanks for dropping those comments. We will get to all of the pricing or any of the questions that you have in the live stream comments after we roll through some of these topics. But in this next topic, we're going to talk about Elon's subtle pricing strategy, or the strategy behind Tesla's price cuts, and what was just released from the Wall Street Journal. So let me know what your thoughts on that. But if we're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best behind Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And thanks for hitting the like button, and let us get into this. So shout out to Organic Vacation on Reddit. They posted this, the subtle strategy behind Elon's price cut at Tesla, and also Whole Mars blog posted it and summed up the statement. But here's the article. I wasn't able to read the whole thing because it's behind a paywall, but shout out to Whole Mars catalog for basically giving us the juicy statement, which is basically what we've known about already because this was discussed during Tesla earnings call. Quote, his argument is akin to Apple's Incorporated with iPhones and App Store sales. The bigger the fleet of Tesla vehicles sold today, the quote, more potential for higher margin software profits in the future. And so we knew this already because during the Tesla earnings call, Elon did state that they are one of the only manufacturers out there that could potentially sell Tesla vehicles at zero margin profit because the future of full self-driving, enhanced autopilot, and all these different softwares that they can sell to customers later on. So of course, enhanced autopilot is $6,000 and full self-driving is $15,000. But little do most people know that you don't actually have to pay this full huge amount up front with buying your vehicle. And on top of that, I do not recommend that. Enhanced Autopilot is actually, you can subscribe it for $100 a month if you want to try these different features for like a month while you're on longer road trips or something like that. And full self-driving, you can actually subscribe for $200 a month. But I definitely don't recommend that because I've heard of stories where people will subscribe for the full self-driving at $200 a month, and they'll be 3 to 4 months in and they still won't actually have the beta. And the beta is what actually most people see on YouTube videos from like Holes Mark's catalog himself, where he drives through San Francisco streets or any sort of LA streets. That's actually full self-driving beta and not actually the package where you purchase for the $15,000 or the $200 a month. But pretty big stuff. I mean, as you probably known already, this is basically Elon's instant price cut strategy and what they potentially could be doing in the near future with maybe more price cuts. I mean, definitely Model 3, I think will definitely get some more price cuts in the near future. But here's an inventory chart from MattJung.net, and Model Y inventory is pretty much holding steady at the 200 vehicles posted onto the website mark, because you can see it right here. There's only 193 Model Ys posted onto the websites of all Tesla vehicles. But Model 3 inventory is definitely on the up and up and up. And so do I think that a Tesla Model 3 price cut is coming in the near future? 100,000%, because right now the Model 3 starts at $39,990, but it only gets a $3,750 tax credit. And so we could easily see another $2,000 to $3,000 price cut for the Model 3 in the very near future. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on. What do you think on Elon's pricing strategy for the Tesla model vehicles, and what do you think is going to happen in the near future? But we're going to get into our next topic. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you can support the channel. So definitely check it out if you're interested. Alex, welcome in. Thank you. Kyle, Powell, thanks for coming in. We've got a couple different topics, some interesting quick tidbits, so we can run through them really quickly. But this next topic, Tesla has just released their reliability of the supercharger ratio, or the ratio of their Tesla superchargers. And this makes sense, right? I mean, if you are anyone that is on the fence about buying another type of electric vehicle out there, you really got to experience, maybe you tap on one of your friends and go experience a Tesla supercharger versus the competition, because Tesla superchargers are at near 100%, near perfect reliability uptime ratio. And that's a pretty big feature, and we'll talk about why. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best deal on Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel, but more on that later. But let us take a look at this. Shout out to Inside EVs. Tesla says, quote, that supercharger average uptime is near perfect, 100%. Quote, chargers that just work, but what does that really mean? And so if we take a look at the data here, you can see the average uptime of charging sites across all their different chargers is at a near 99.95%. Set in 2022. And that's big. I mean, because if you have tests, or if you've been driving if you've driven any other electric vehicle that has to use EVgo, Electrifying America, and all these other different stations, they could be down or they could be offline. But Tesla having a 99.95% uptime is very big news, because when you are driving around and when you're doing road trips, or you're like me driving all over California highways, you really are trying to time the different supercharging and charging times. And so driving up and maybe even waiting for 5 minutes, or driving up, parking and plugging in really quick and to go maybe take a bathroom break, those minutes definitely start to add up. Or if you've got to sit there for 20 minutes, then any minute or 5 minutes that you're stalling between actually starting your charging rate is going to, I guess, could be a pretty detrimental at the end of the day. But definitely some cool stuff. Really cool to see that Tesla has a near 100% supercharging ratio. But if you're a Tesla owner out there, you probably already knew this because of how reliable a Tesla supercharger is in competition to everyone else. But we're going to jump into our next topic. We're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is a Patreon link where you can support the channel. So definitely check it out if you're interested. But if you're just joining in, welcome. We talked about how you could get a Tesla Model Y for $647 a month, and I gave you all the exact steps why. But basically, of course, if you don't know, it's go to waitingfortesla.com, find a demo vehicle out there. Here's one right on the screen at $49,530 with a $460 discount. Use financing partners like Tenet down below in the description, where you can offset or defer the $7,500 federal tax credit or a portion of the loan, whichever amount you want, or credit unions like Labor Credit Union, because the credit union has a 88-month finance rate, which is definitely a long-term at the 5.99%, where Tesla's already at 5.59%. So just a hair bit more. I mean, at the end of the day, these rates it is what it is. But at 88 months at 5.99% and an estimated out the door at $53,490, which is the Model Y that we chose early with the $460 discount, that gives you a net monthly payment of $647 a month. You can see right here on the side all the different things, and that's including the $7,500 down payment or deferral, or however you want to swing it. And so this gives you an idea of what is in the realm of possibilities. This is a real monthly payment, not something we just concoct out of thin air. This is real monthly payment if you can get to those rates with that term, which is definitely possible because I actually financed my last Tesla using Labor. So definitely get that if you're interested. But we're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, let's just do that. Powell-san does at the end of the day, CW, how's it going? Thanks for coming in, pal. Thanks for hitting the like button, the comments, and definitely hitting that subscribe. But Kyle, your advice helped me score a Model Y long range 7 with a discount as a demo unit. The price cut plus the 7 sig configure price cut plus demo discount and tax credit was too good to pass up. No, congrats to you. Thanks for coming by. Thanks for sharing that. I'm glad I was able to help out. But anybody out there that has just purchased a Tesla or has one on order, definitely check out our Tesla accessory partners down below in the description if you want to support the channel. We've got Tamai, Jawa, Tesla, MAGBAK, and if you want a more premium floor mount, we've got 3D Mats USA. So thank you all for using the links, and congrats to everybody that has purchased a Tesla, and hopefully we've helped you navigate the crazy time of waiting for your Tesla through EDD changes, estimated delivery date changes, and all of that stuff. Alex, taking delivery May 7th of the Model 3 Performance. Send good vibes for one more price cut before then. Alex, one more price cut is coming. Hopefully, fingers crossed, but enjoy for sure. I stalled on my Model 3 delivery until next Friday. If not, I'll take it. Waited long enough. Yeah, Model 3 Performance is a hell of a vehicle. Powell's, I got a 4.49 from Tesla, by the way, through TD. Powell's, can you send me a screenshot of that? Maybe through the Instagram or the Twitter or whatever platform you use, because I would love to highlight that, and I would definitely give you a shout out. But I've not heard of that at all. But 4.49 through TD, I've actually never heard of Tesla using TD either. So maybe you have been the first to stumble on something, because maybe Tesla has just hooked up with a new financing partner, TD Bank, right? TD Bank, because yeah, I've always heard Wells Fargo, Chase, Bank of America, but maybe Tesla has introduced a new bank. And if they can do 4.49, because they've been talking about this for a while, right? And they definitely talked about it on their most recent earnings call about trying to use, or their most recent 10T, about trying to use other financing partners or Tesla financing maybe even, to get lower rates. But very interesting, pals. Please send me a screenshot so we can make a topic on that, because the community probably wants to know about that, because that beats a lot of rates out there. It doesn't beat credit union rates, but definitely beats a lot of rates out there. What's the best option for refinance, because the rates are so high? Warren, definitely check it out. Link down below in the description, the Patreon link, where you can get access to all the credit unions and banks that all have interest rates lower than Tesla financing. The best refinance right now is actually, there's some as low as 2.99. Those are a little bit harder, but 3.7 is very easily, or 3.74 is very easily attainable. Patreon link down below in the description. I ordered a few back, but it's definitely TD Bank all through the app. I mean, it should be like whatever is now, but that is interesting. TD Bank Auto Finance. Let's check it out, because I've never heard of them offering that low rates, but maybe it's just directly for Tesla buyers and hooked up. I mean, for sure it's for Tesla buyers and hooked up through Tesla. But yeah, if you could send me a screenshot of that, I mean, of course, block out all your information. I would love to highlight that, because that is game changer for sure, because the website says 5.59%, but of course, maybe it's not as updated, but you're also taking delivery next Friday, which is May. So maybe May promotions are all changing. That would be very interesting and a game changer for sure, for sure. But in this next topic, Tesla has released that their Tesla Model Y is the most efficient vehicle or a most efficient electric SUV, they're claiming it is, ever built, and it beats the competition. So we'll talk about it. But if you're just joining in, my name is Dennis. I love talking about Tesla hacking, as I like to call it, but basically just getting the best behind Tesla at the best financing rate. So definitely hit that subscribe if you're interested. And today's video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link down below in the description if you want to support the channel, but more on that later. But let us take a look at this. Shout out to Tesla on Twitter. Model Y all-wheel drive is the most efficient electric SUV ever built. And of course, we've got the competition right on the screen. We've got Volkswagen ID4, Ford Mach-E, Jaguar I-Pace, and Audi e-tron. So of course, they've rated themselves, or EPA has rated them at 4.0, and then the competition trickles down under that. But the question I had was, what does this even mean? Like efficient electricity, efficient electric, in a sense that like what you put in, it uses it at a better rate. But shout out to Jack Farrington on Twitter down below. For those unclear on what this means, it's simple. It costs less money in electricity to travel the same distance. In the case of a second place vehicle, Tesla Model Y will cost 25% less to travel the same distance as an ID4, and Model Y will cost 50% less than an Audi e-tron. So, I mean, these numbers, you got to take it into factoration and take to effect, because if you're spending the same money to charge electric vehicles per kilowatt at whatever you're at, 20 cents, 40 cents, 50 cents if you're at a supercharger, then these dollars and cents will definitely play a big part, because you're paying per kilowatt and how your vehicle uses it for efficiency to travel miles or all these different things. And that is going to play a huge factor at the end of the day. So shout out to Tesla for basically winning this from the EPA and getting a most efficient Tesla Model Y versus the competition. So definitely good stuff. I mean, we've known this. If you've been researching, you know Tesla Model Ys are probably one of the best value for dollar vehicle out there, and that's probably why you're trying to buy one at the end of the day. But I'd love to see this, the Model 3 compared to the rest, and also of course Model S and Model X. But at the end of the day, Tesla Model Y is probably the bulk of buyers, and also the Model 3. But we're going to jump into the live stream comments. But before we do that, this video is actually sponsored by my Patreon link. Down below in the description is the Patreon link where you can support the channel, so definitely check it out if you are interested. All right, let's see. You ordered 3 weeks ago. Nice. Yeah, I mean, that's pretty interesting. 4.49% through Tesla. Game changer. That is going to boost sales through the end of June. That's for sure. Is Elon your uncle? Exactly, right? John Hines, he's got the hookup rate. Hi, Dennis. I'm looking for the Model Y Performance long range. Should I get it today with 49K or should I wait? Model Y Performance Long Range, if you can get it for 49,000, 100% get it. But Model Y All-Wheel Drive 49,000, that's probably what you're thinking about. But Model Y, the inventory is starting to go down. So I would say wait till June if you can. Wait one more month if possible, because that's when all these stops and incentives and everything is probably going to get released. Dennis, I took delivery last Thursday of Model Y Long Range. I went with Tesla Financing, but definitely check out Tenet for maybe a call with you for a lower monthly payment. Yeah, Joe, definitely check it out. Patreon link down below in the description. You get access to the full list of all the banks and credit unions that all have better rates than Tesla Financing's, better than Tesla's 5.59%, some even as low as 2.99, but most likely 3.7% that you're going to qualify. 2.99 is pretty hard to qualify for. But in terms of size, how do other EVs match up with the size of the Model Y in terms of EPA? I think they're all pretty much the same, but I have no idea actually. I mean, from perspective, I mean, I've never driven, that's the thing, I've never driven a Volkswagen ID4. I've heard, lukewarm things. Ford Mach-E, I got really close. I don't know if I got really close to buying one, but I definitely researched it and see if there was a deal. And so, but the Audi e-tron, I've sat in it, I've driven it. Definitely a very expensive car. I think it starts at like 70 to 80,000 MSRP now. So it's definitely up there. That's for sure. I put 20K down payment. I only pay $600 per month. Well, I think you should, you should definitely check out some of the some of our, I don't think you ever checked out the Patreon, but definitely check out the Patreon for better rates than, well, actually, I don't know what you financed at, but you could definitely refinance at a lower rate depending on what rate you have for sure. But here it is on the screen. Everybody that's jumping in, we went through the whole situation on how I would actually buy a Tesla today. I would go, of course, to waitingfortesla.com, find a demo inventory status vehicle, maybe check out Tenet down below in the description, because they've got a way to defer the $7,500 federal tax rate all the way to 10, which then lowers a monthly payment. Or I would actually go through Labor Credit Union, which we refinanced our last Tesla through, because they've got a special 88-month term at $5.99 a month, and that nets you a low monthly payment of $647 a month with $7,500 down, which is of course the $7,500 federal tax credit. That is one way you can do it. I mean, there's definitely ways to get 3.7 or 2.99%, but of course it's not going to be 88 months as a term. But now I'm curious, actually, if we did 4.24, is that a lower monthly payment? And it doesn't. Yeah. So of course this video, that topic was to try and get the lowest monthly payment possible, and that's how you're actually going to get that with of course a very, very, very long term. I mean, maybe not recommended. Of course, if you are in a situation where you have to do something like this, I would really only recommend it if you're going to start to pay it aggressively, but you want like the least like liability per month, like because of cash flow and things like that. They gave me 5.39 with TD Auto Finance. Huh, okay, Joe. So, I mean, that's news to me. I've never heard of Tesla financing offering lower than the 5.59 advertised rate, but that's good. That's good news that they're starting to get more aggressive. But, we've also just heard that maybe some people got even lower than that. Powell said he got 4.49. So that's definitely big news. I put 75% down. Maybe that's something to do with it. 67%. Maybe, yeah, that's a pretty, and then what was the month? What was the term? 36 month? If it was like 36 month, then I could see 4.49. But if it was 60 or 72 month, then that's definitely a low rate. If I place an order on a new Model Y, will it lock in pricing for demo inventory Model Y prices? It should, but definitely consult a Tesla advisor before you do that. What incentives do you predict for June for Tesla Model Y? Actually, we made a video about that. Or actually, here it is on the screen. I put a poll out there, because this a little bit of this is what we've seen in the past. But I asked the question out there to the community: what incentives would you want Tesla to give you? And an overwhelming 36% said a low subsidized interest rate. We've never seen this in the American markets. We've definitely seen it in other countries and other markets, but these three things down below we've definitely seen in the American markets, the USA markets: free supercharging, of course, free option credits, and also more discounts on top of that, on top of like all these demo discounts that will definitely be coming in June. But we made a video about that, explaining all those different things on the channel, so definitely check it out. Link down below in the description or on the channel. They gave me 6.69. Yeah, that's definitely on the higher end, but that could be because maybe like first time buyer or anything like that. 48 months. Yes. So that makes sense then, because if you go lower term, then that's where you're going to get lower rates than the 5.59%. And so that could make sense, because if you switch to here, let's see. No, actually it doesn't change on the website, but definitely with like other credit unions, you can get even lower, because if you go like 36 months or like 48 months. There even was a time when you could get like 1% for 1 year, 2% for 2 years, and 3% for 36 months and things like that. So definitely crazy stuff. But Powell's, if you want to save a little bit, I don't know if it's worth the effort, but you could get as low as 3.7% for tier 1 credit. That's for sure. But definitely some pretty interesting stuff. Let me know what your thoughts on it. Thanks for joining in. Thanks for hitting the like button. Thanks for hitting the comment button. I'll hang around for just a second if there's any more questions about buying a Tesla, selling a Tesla, or even financing a Tesla. But crazy stuff across the board. Inventory is certainly on the down for Tesla Model Y because, there's only 193 Model Ys available for sale in the country right now. And we're about to enter into May, which is, of course, the second month of the quarter. But definitely a very interesting time. If you can wait till June, then that will be the best time in the near future to buy a Tesla. But who knows, right? I mean, we could probably chart out our predictions for the rest of the year. Maybe, of course, June is going to be a crazy time with pricing discounts or demo discounts. Then pricing I think pricing is going to go up just a little bit for Model Y in the near future, maybe $500 $500 to $1,000. Then it's going to drop again and then maybe go up a little bit. But December is always going to be September and December, the end of the quarters for the next couple quarters for Tesla, is always going to be an interesting time. And of course, we've got Cybertruck that's potentially on the near future, and Model 3 Highland that's also in the near future. So it definitely will be a fun time for Tesla sales. But thanks for watching, everyone. Thanks for joining in, and I'll see you guys in the next one. See ya.